Это un manicomio! Вы хотите меня видеть? Да. Идите в спортивную, удовольствие видите, и принесите мне. Avenge me! Avenge me! Любович! Don't cry! Hold it back!
All that hate's gonna burn you up, kid. Keep some warm.
Well, blindfolds, it's violent as your Neo convention. I never heard of it.
Transmissions will resume. I try to push, try to keep us all down, hold that we will never see the truth around. Another promise, another scene, another a package like to keep us trapped in greed. All green belts wrapped around our minds, an endless red tape to keep the truth confined.
12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for tuning into the Armory on You Have Tread on Me Radio. It is April 9th, 2011. And tonight we have on Amelia Foxwell again.
Hello.
We're really going to get into it today. And creating a community amongst not just your militia unit, amongst militia units across the country, and creating community amongst your community, amongst the public. Amelia, you there?
I'm here.
Okay. Like I said, we started talking about it a little bit on the first time I had you on. What kind of things are you doing with CCOM and amongst the Charter Oaks? What are you doing to create that community amongst your units?
We do a variety of different things, and most of them are very simple. Creating a community and creating a strong community within your own militia or your own group is just about being a good person who cares about the people that you work with and cares about the people who are there to support you. There are lots of us who don't even know who our neighbors are. And then there are some of us that walk over to our neighbor's house and say, how are you doing today? How are your kids doing? Can I help you with your yard? And that's the same kind of principles that you just need to apply to your militia. I am in daily contact with every single active member in our militia. We have a website of our own. We have a CCOM website, and then we have a Florida Charter section of that website. And it has a chat room on it. So every member is in constant contact. We put updates on there. If anybody's going through something, if they have a spouse in the hospital, or if they're having some kind of problem, I let everybody know. And I tell everybody to call them and see what they can do for them. We have different chapters across the state, and our chapter in Miami is 2 hours away, but we're very, very close with them. And I speak to the leader of that group probably every 3 or 4 days. I plan lots of dinner parties. Every holiday we have events at my house where everybody gets together. And it's very important that you don't just go train with people. It's important that they are your family and that they do things with you. Every person who's in a militia has a wife and kids that may not understand what they're doing. But if their wife and kids meet all the other wives and kids, and they all get a chance to see each other and understand, that it's not just their husband is a nut and runs off in the woods, that there's actually a community here and there is a group of people that they can connect with and believe in, it creates a better community. You know, militias aren't just about the member who actually trains. They're about everyone that person has around them and about their entire families and their friends.
Okay. You know, what about also the community? Because if we don't have the support from the community, we really, if something bad happens, it will be for naught, everything that we've done so far. What kind of things are you doing for the community?
For the community, the way to gain support from your community is to support your community in turn, to support them first, to reach out, to make effort, to help people. Every single person lives in a neighborhood where if they look around and they pay attention, they can see a need. And, there are so many people who just aren't aware and just don't look for ways that they can help. And every single day, every member of our group looks for ways they can help. Right now, we're organizing a poker run with the local biker club to raise money for Backpack Angels, which is a group that raises money to put together backpacks with foods and toiletries and things for homeless teenagers in the area. In Sarasota County, we have over 2,000 homeless teenagers who are living in cars or various other situations at the moment. There are very simple things like that. You know, I live 2 minutes from the most depressed area of town here, and we regularly drive through there and look around and stop and talk to people who are standing out on their lawns and say, hey, I live down the street, on 46th Street. We're just checking in to see if we can help you with anything or, if anybody in the neighborhood needs anything. There are people who need rides to doctor's offices. There is an amazing, overwhelming need in our country right now. There are so many people who are suffering and so many people who need help. And it's all very simple things. It doesn't take a lot of time. It doesn't take a lot of money. It just takes you caring and making an effort. And, if you think about this from a humanitarian aspect, we should all be doing this all of the time, every day, no matter what, anyway. But when you do this and you show people, hi, we're from your local militia, and we want to help you fix your roof, or I want to give you a ride to your doctor's office, or, different things like that, it helps people understand that we are there to support them. We're not, some lunatics hiding off in the woods with some bizarre agenda. We're here to support our communities. That's why we are a militia, because we care about our communities, we care about the people in them, and we care about the people in our country as a whole. And that's the most important thing to get across to people. And if you're just a good person who is active in your community and you say, yes, I'm a member of the Florida Charter Oaks Militia, we're here to help. That's as simple and as silly as it sounds. It wins the hearts and minds of people every time because there are so many people who need help who are not getting it.
Okay. When we had T-Mac on, or not we, when Brandy had T-Mac on with the Illinois Sons of Liberty, tornadoes had ripped apart a town in Illinois called Dwight. And, they were on the road, already halfway there, within 45 minutes, hearing about it. They got there, and they were blocked by the Department of Homeland Security and welcomed by the police.
Right. The local authorities will always be 10,000 times more receptive than federal authorities will, because it's not the Fed's home. When you go in a peaceful manner to local authorities and you say, we know we're having a catastrophe and we know lots of people need help, can we help? What can we do? The instance of success with that is going to be 100%. We have had numerous situations where people approach LEOs or other people in the wrong manner. And if you walk up and you just say, hey, we're here to help. We want to help our neighborhood. We want to help these people. What can we do? No one in the world will turn you away.
Right. Now, the reason that I push for community so vehemently is I came up with a few years ago what I called the catalyst of chaos. Now, I touched on this a little bit last week. I never really got too far into it. Up here in Illinois, we have not very active militia groups. I mean, we have the Sons of Liberty, we have a few other groups. But in other states, such as Texas, I know has a pretty strong presence of constitutional militia. In other states, there's constitutional militia groups, and then when you get into the Southwest, there's the Aslan and La Raza and all these other groups who believe that most of the Southwest belongs to Mexico still. And then you have the white supremacist and racist militias out there. You have these people who are coming together and forming their own groups to defend themselves, what they believe they're defending themselves. And one thing can throw it off. One thing can create the spark that's needed to set the powder keg on fire and would absolutely erupt. And I believe without reasonable and strong leadership and community will turn this country into Somalia. Different streets and blocks run by different people, different warlords, if you will, and that's why I push for community.
There's, in the 50s, there was a very different mentality in our neighborhoods, in our homes, and in our country as a whole. If you think about times like World War II, there were families that, cinched their pocket strings or their purse strings and rallied together and, did everything they could to support the people who were fighting and to support our country and to support our efforts. And we really just don't have that anymore as a whole. We have people who are supportive of our military, and we have people who are supportive because they have family members in our military. And then we have people who really think it's terrible. And then we have people who don't care at all. We're very, very fractioned in our society. We're very separated. We're very isolated. Things like the internet and television isolate us further. They allow us to gain interaction without ever leaving the house. So the interaction that you gain online is not real at all. But we've made that a suitable substitute for going out in your front yard and talking to your neighbors. And that has further, implemented the idea that we're all separate and we're not one united group. And that allows powder keg situations to escalate really quickly. When you have a group of people who know each other and are all working towards a common goal, huge catastrophes are a lot less likely to A, happen, or to B, be dealt with badly. That's where committees of safety come in huge in communities. We have, in Florida, we have a huge threat of hurricanes all of the time. And since I've lived here, we haven't had a bad one hit, at least where I live. And in an instance like that, if I had something like Hurricane Katrina happen at my home, if I had a committee of safety in the area, those people would help make sure that everybody had water, that everybody had medical attention. They would assist police officers, they would assist emergency response, they would assist people in the area to make sure that where they weren't capable of filling in the gaps, they would fill in the gaps. And that's so necessary no matter what, anywhere. And the committees of safety is part of the mentality that we have lost. We lost it's us taking care of our communities. That somehow along the line turned into it's the government's responsibility to take care of your neighbor who needs help. And that doesn't work. So we have to change the mentality of how